So welcome to viewers, and this is Module of Venice line by line explanation. In previous 5 video, it was all about Act 1, Scene 1, and we have discussed some important questions relating to Act 1, Scene 1. In this video, we're gonna start with Act 1, Scene 2. Okay, so this video also we will do as 3-4 videos. This Act 1 Scene 2 we will do as 3-4 videos. Okay, it will depend on how it will over. So without any time waste, let's start Act 1 Scene 2. So we have merged of Venice, Act 1 Scene 2. This scene moves from Venice to Belmont. We know Act 1 Scene 1 took at a street in Venice, but now we have Belmont, where heroine Portia is introduced to us. Okay, Portia discusses with the maid Nerissa. We know who is Nerissa, lady in waiting of Portia, about this scheme of lottery of casket by which her suitors choose one of the caskets in order to win. Okay, there will be, I think, 3 caskets will be there, and out of them her suitors will choose one of them, and easily they can win Portia. Some suitors have already come, but Portia did not like them at all. Nerissa tells them of Bassanio, whom she found. Portia found Bassanio little attractive. Let's look what will happen. So let's go to drama Act 1, Scene 2. Scene 2, Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Okay, it's a room in Portia's house, and we have Portia and Nerissa enter. Portia is saying, "By my troth, Nerissa, my little bodies are weary of this great world." By my troth means by my faith. So Nerissa, by my faith, my poor little body is weary of this great world, meaning my poor little body is tired of this great world. Weary means tired. Nerissa is saying, "You would be sweet, madam, if your miseries were in same abundance as your good fortunes are." Miseries means a state of physical or mental discomfort or distress. Okay, so wherein same abundance, wherein plentiful as your good fortunes are, meaning she is not having a good luck and wealth. Instead, she is having a form of bad luck. Okay, and yet for aught I see, they are sick that surfeit with too much and we starve with nothing. That is where Nerissa is telling not to think too much or not to think too low. Okay, it is so mean happiness, therefore to be seated in the meat. Don't go too up, too down, but you have to be in a right position. That is, you have to be in middle. That is why you are feeling tired and you are having a bad luck. Superfluity comes sooner by white hair. That is, any person that have too much of anything get older soon, but competency lives longer. That is, those who have enough to survive. That is, person who have right things to survive can live longer. So that's a phrase. Learn that. Portia, good sentences and well pronounced. So Portia is saying, yeah, good sentences and you pronounce very well. Nerissa, they will be better if well followed. I agree that it is good sentence and well pronounced, but you must follow that in order to come with your solutions of your tiredness. Okay, Portia, if to do were as easy, that means if it was easy to do done and how to do, that is, if people know what to do earlier as to know what were good to do, chapels would have become churches and poor men's cottage princesses palaces. So if one person know earlier what to do, then poor man's cottage will become what? Chapels would become churches, and poor man's cottage would become princess's palace. It is a good divine that follows his own instruction. I can easily teach 20 what were good to be done, then be one of the 20 to follow mine on teaching. So what Portia is saying that If I would have followed these good advices, that is, if I knew everything earlier, I can teach 20 people about that. Then any of the 20 would teach one of them to follow her own teaching. The brain may devise law, that is, the brain makes a laws for the blood. Devise means makes or advises law for blood. But a hot temper leaves or a cold decrease. Such a hair is madness or the youth. What she is saying, what you think good when you are young is called as a madness. Okay, what you think good, that is, if you do anything what you know, that is what you feel right, if you do that during your young age, it is called madness according to Portia. What do you mean by youth? A period between an adult and a children. Okay, to skip all the measures of good counsel or the cripple, that is to skip over the nets of good advice, that is called as a cripple. Okay, but this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. According to Portia, it is not the right way to choose the husband for her. Oh me, the word choose. I mean, neither choose whom I would nor refuse whom I dislike. So, the will of a living daughter go by the will of a dead father. So, the word choose decides whom Portia must marry for. By the time of Portia's father's death, he promised to that about a three lottery of caskets whom she should choose a husband. So now he is in investigation or he is in search of it. So let's look what will happen. Nextly, it is a will of a daughter by dead father. Okay, it is not her, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse one. Now Portia has a situation that he cannot choose one and he cannot refuse one. Okay, so let's look what will happen nextly. Before that, let me read once again this much lines. Scene 2. Bellman alone in Portia's house. Enter Portia and Nerissa. Portia, by my troth, Nerissa, my little bodies are weary of this great world. Nerissa, you would be sweet, madam, if your miseries were in same abundance as your good fortunes are. And yet, for all I see, they are as sick that surface with too much as they that starve with nothing. It is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the mean. Superfluity comes sooner by white hair, but competency lives longer. Good sentence, Portia. Good sentences and well pronounced. Nerissa, they would be better if well followed. Portia, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels would have become churches and poor men's cottage princesses' palaces. It is a good divine that follows his own instruction. I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than one of the 20 to teach mine own teaching. That is, she could easily teach 20 people what were good to be done instead of one of them teaching her own instead of one to follow her own teaching. Okay, the brain may devise law for bread, but a hot temper lives or it is over in our language. Or means over in our language. A cold disease such a hair is called as a madness or the youth to skip or the measures of a good counsel, meaning to skip over the net of good nets of good advice, that is called as the tribble. But this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Only the word choose. I may neither choose whom I would nor refuse whom I dislike. So is the will of a living daughter curbed uh, by the will of a dead father. By the time of her father's death, he offered one thing to choose a nice person. That is what about the lottery of caskets we are talking about. Is it not her, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse one? Now she don't know what to do. I cannot refuse anyone, nor I cannot choose anyone. So what will happen? We can see. So how this was all clear. Let's move forward.
Nerissa, your father was ever vicious and holy man at their death have good inspirations. Therefore the lot of caskets that he had devised in 3 chests of gold, silver, and lead, whereof who chooses his meaning will choose you will no doubt never be chosen by any other rightly, but one who shall rightly love. But what warmth is there yet your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come?
Here we have Nerissa. She is saying that when Portia's father is a virtuous person and a holy man, and when he was about to die, he had good inspirations during time of death. But before he was about to die, he promised Portia to marry a person under one condition. That condition was like that there were three uh, caskets, lottery of caskets. Three of them. One was gold, and there was silver, and there was lead. And by a meaning, during earlier period, there was a meaning to choose a husband like that. His father had three lottery of casket with three different elements, and they were according to the meaning they have to choose a casket, and whoever have its meaning will be Portia's husband. Okay, but Nerissa was also asking, what warmth will you do to the suitors which are already arrived? Because many suitors have already arrived. Now, what will you do to them? So that was the condition. He cannot accept one or he cannot refuse one. So, what will she do? That is what Nerissa is asking. So, Portia, I pray thee overname them. So I request you call out their names. And as thou namest them, I will describe them and according to my description level at my affection. So when you call out the name, I will describe them. And according to the description, we will move forward. Okay. So they started off calling out the names. So let's look who all are there. There is a first there is a Neapolitan prince. Now what is a Neapolitan? Okay, like India is having Indian, America is having American, like Japan is having Japanese, and like that. There is a country called Naples, Naples. Okay, Naples. So people of Naples were called as Napolitan. Okay, so there is a prince of Napolitan. That is what Nerissa is the first one. Portia, aye, that's gold indeed, for he doth nothing but talk of his horse. So Portia is saying he is an inexperienced man. He have to tell about his horse. He is always busy with his horse. So normally the people of Naples were busy with their horse. That is the specialty of them. Okay, and he makes the great appropriation to his good own part that he can show him himself. Okay, the biggest task he can do with his horse is that he can shoot that horse. Okay, I am much afraid. Afraid means afraid. So there is a spelling, there is a difference of spelling. Pronunciation is correct. Okay, afraid. I'm afraid my lady his mother play falls with a smith. Okay, so this Napolitan prince mother play falls with a blacksmith. Okay, understood. So next, so that was first suitor. Now let's look at next one. Nerissa. There is then is there the County Palatine. County Palatine. Do you know who County Palatine is? He is a count from a place called Palatinate, the region on west bank of Rhine in Germany. Okay. So there is a County Palatine. So let's see what Portia tells about the County Palatine. He doth nothing but frown, as who should say, and you will not have me choose. So, County Palatine looks angry most of the time. In Act 1, Scene 1, we discussed about Janice. Yes. What is the specialty of Janice? We look, one would be always smiling and the other would be frowning. So County Palatine is always frowning. So he does nothing but always look angrily. As who should say, and you will have me choose. So you can Portia is saying what will be the situation when he married to County Palatine. It would be very bad situation. He hears many merry tales and smiles not. He hears many stories, he hears many merry tales, but he never smiles. Portia don't know. He doesn't smile at all. Okay? I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old. So, what do you mean by weeping philosopher? Okay, let me tell you about weeping philosopher. In ancient Greece, there was a person called Heraclitus. 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 Okay, so he was one of the weeping philosopher. That is, he was so distressed by mankind. That is, he was always being unhappy. He was always unhappy, this Heraclitus. Okay, distressed by mankind. So what happened at last was that he went to forest to live alone. So like that, when County Palatine grows old, he will prove the Philippine philosopher. That is, he will be like this Heraclitus. So being so full of unmanly sadness in his youth. You know what youth is? A period between an adulthood and a childhood. So during his youth, his unmanly sadness, that is unpleasant gloom, not so happy. Okay, I had rather to be married at death's head. What do you mean by death's head? Skull with a bone in its mouth than to either of these. Instead of marrying County Palatine, it is better to marry a skull because both of them are equivalent due to County Palatine's uh, County Palatine's unhappiness. God defend me. So Portia is saying, God, please protect me from these two. Who are these two? The Pollution Prince and County Palatine. Okay. So it is important. Okay. So it is important to learn what Portia thinks of. Okay. On exam, there will be question like this. What does Portia think upon Napoleon Prince? You have to study that. Also, County Palatine. Okay, like that many suitors are given here. You have to study their description of Portia as it is in simple English words. Okay, so today we learned lines 1 to 59. Hope that much was all clear. So I am winding up here. For any doubt, just comment below, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel because you have to get notifications. So that was, I hope that was all clear. So read again Act 1 Scene 2 because it is important for us to learn. Okay. So that was Merchant of Venice Act 1 Scene 2 Part 1. Okay, so I'm concluding up. Thank you.